We're starting there.
I couldn't send, I just tried to send a text and it didn't go, so.
I'm trying to call him back and what's that?
They're almost gone, you give them another minute.
Yeah. Any good, Brett?
No. Why, you make them?
No, Brett. Brett is the sweetheart, I like to make cookies. Very good.
You some like looking ice cream.
Yeah, that's all right. A little sandwich cookie. Throw in the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
Nice one. Always talk to the Shannon. Yeah. He doesn't need so supposedly I told her, well, yeah. This was
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just wanted to let it out.
Yeah.
We're live. Oh. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the June 2023 meeting of the Mullett Township Board of Trustees. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Sarabian,
Here.
Treasurer Bowles. Trustee Gorky.
Here.
Trustee Lindrum.
Here.
And the clerk is here as well.
We'll go for a call to the public. It's a 3-minute per person opportunity. So if anybody has anything they'd like to say tonight.
Just a real quick one. My wife and I are recent residents around Bay. I was wondering if the township has any plans to treat the dirt roads, the brine, like Boy Scout Road and Jeweler is terrible, other than today's rain, but.
That's a good question. Yes, we treat the roads each year. We treat them once a year. We tend to do it towards the end of June and before the 4th of July. Part of the thought process that goes into that and talking with the road commission, that's a good time because by then usually the spring rains have passed and it doesn't wash the brine out. And the challenge with brining of the roads is that there's a couple of things. First of all, it's not cheap, but we do it. Secondly, once we brine the roads, and before we brine them, the road commission goes by and they grade them and they get them in as good a shape as they can. And then they put the brine on. And inevitably what happens is at some point in the summer, we get one of those real good downpours and that causes the roads to get rough again. And the problem with that is if we go grade it again, we lose the brining. So it becomes, you're darned if you do and you're darned if you don't, but we're doing our best to make it work.
Great, thank you.
For everyone, but yeah, we do that.
In other words, it is scheduled.
Yeah, and I didn't say June 19th is what I was told last week.
That's next week. Okay, fantastic.
But that can change based on what they've done with townships in advance. If they got stuck somewhere and they didn't get everything done, ours will get pushed back. So anywhere between the 19th and the 30th of June would be my best guesstimate.
Great, well, thank you.
You should see the crews coming by and resurfacing the roads. I see a thumbs up.
And they're doing that right now, and I gave them the thumbs up on the way home today.
Rob Soche is the supervisor for the Sheboygan County Road Commission on this side of the lake.
Okay.
And he's done a real good job for us in recent years. We really.
Yeah, I would say that the roads have been very well maintained, yeah.
Good, glad to hear that. And we're gonna be working on, we're going into my report for later, but we're gonna be working on Blue Water Road. Blue Water is the name of it.
Up this way.
Yep. Yeah, down that way. That's gonna be getting a little bit of a rebuild this year. And the road commission's gonna do that versus having to go out to a third party and do it. So that's gonna happen then. Any other comments for public comment? Okay, the board probably saw this. I got this around 10 minutes of 5. It's a letter from, it was asked to read to the public, from Michael Kehoe on Woodside Park Road. I request this to the Mullett Board and the electors of Mullett Township. I request that this letter be read aloud by Township Supervisor Laz Sarabian during the public comment period of the June 12, 2023 meeting. So I'll read it now. During the May 8, 2023 Township meeting, I watched with concern as Brenda Bowes, the Mullett Township Treasurer, moved to destroy online video records of public meetings after 30 days. Such a proposal coming from a member of the slate that ran for office on the platform of complete transparency and accountability confused and upset me. I did some research. After my research, the reasoning behind Ms. Bowes' motion became clear to me. She stated she was uncomfortable with the meeting records being available for the public. After a review, I understand very well why she is uncomfortable. During the March 23rd, 23 special meeting, Ms. Bowes and Ms. Ackerman brought forth the matter of the township maintenance staff budget and the need to immediately reduce the costs. A review of that meeting's video shows the issue being brought up 1 hour and 39 minutes into the meeting. There was much discussion about the maintenance staff and their costs. Ms. Bowes and Ms. Ackerman's directions were clear. Costs needed to be cut. When details of the current maintenance staff and their work were discussed, Ms. Ackerman stated that she was glad that this was not a public meeting, but she would be uncomfortable if someone was present to hear her comments. But it was a public meeting. There was just no one from the public there in person. At the April 10th meeting, this April 10th, 2023 meeting, Ms. Bowes and Ms. Ackerman were much less candid about the origin of who wanted the budget cuts. They sat quietly while 2 other board members were publicly vilified for carrying out the measure Ms. Bowes and Ms. Ackerman originally proposed. I too would be uncomfortable if the entire story of how this mess came to be was merely a click away on the internet. However, Mullett Township is not a banana republic where the facts can be erased in order to put a new spin on discussions or hide how proposals and recommendations came to be. Ms. Bowes' recent proposal to erase the records narrowly failed approval, and that is good for all of us in Mullett Township. A board that gained office with my support, I might add, on a platform of honesty, transparency, and openness should be absolutely ashamed that such a motion was ever put forward. As a tax-paying seasonal resident of Mullett Township who relies on recorded board activities to stay current on board and community affairs, I'm incensed by this underhanded activity of 2 of our elected board representatives. I suspect that Ms. Bowes may regroup and try and raise this matter again. Everyone needs to rest assured that this is 2023 and technology is available to everyone to download copies of public information and make it available on their own platforms if required. Ms. Bowes, you can't unring the bell. Your words and actions will always be out there for all to see and hear. When 26 people have already viewed the March 23rd meeting, trying to hide it from more would be a travesty. That meeting and others will always be publicly available. All that would be accomplished by removing online video records of Mullett Township public meetings would be to put a question in every resident's mind. What does the Mullett Township Board have to fear from the truth and what they said and did while acting as our elected representatives? What would be next after destroying the confidence and trust of township residents in this manner? Trying to hide the facts will return Mullett Township to the days of Carl Muscat, when independent parties attended and recorded meetings to make them public, away from the potential influence of board members who want them removed because they are uncomfortable with their own words and actions. For me, it would mean once again supporting an electoral change to get board members who are truly honest and transparent, doing the work of the people without interjecting their own biases and petty grievances into the process. Sincerely, Michael T. Kehoe, Woodside Park resident, Indian River, 49749. Are there any other public comments?
I would like to address this letter now, just so we get it over with. Okay, perfect transparency, let everybody out there. I'm totally embarrassed by this board. I'm embarrassed how it all come about, how people interact with each other, how we have 2 board members who don't come to the office, who don't communicate. So yes, that's why I'm uncomfortable, not because I'm hiding anything. Talking about true transparency about the maintenance staff. Denise and I, darn right, we're the first one said that budget was way over budget. I personally addressed Dave and Jeff, and it was not about their expenses. It was about the mismanagement of the maintenance staff. When we buy snow blowers, nobody uses. When we can't get along with contractors and people who are employed by us who can't get along with people who manage, that's the issue. That's where the money was coming from, because now we don't have someone to plow the snow. We have to pay extra for a contractor to pay for it. That's where our costs are out of control. We have to pay an extra person to throw out trash when we can't get our people to do it. We have to pay extra people to do the lawn service. We have to pay North Star extra because we can't get our maintenance to do it. That is why our maintenance is out of control. That was the issue that was supposed to be addressed. It was never brought that Dave and Jeff were the problem. And that's what was the issue when the other 2 board members went to them and said they had to take a price reduction. We, as a board, never said that. They had to, or that's the only option. We never said it. The other issue, what else? I did run on transparency. I'm not hiding anything. You want perfect transparency, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm not ashamed of anything I've said or done. And I wasn't saying to destroy any of it. I was saying that once one is available, to take the next one down. You can, all these board minutes are available for, I don't know, how many years we have, Denise?
I think back to 2011, there are minutes.
Anytime anyone wants to see, they're more than welcome to see them.
Online, they go back a long way.
Yeah, online there, I mean, there's no petty grievances. All I'm trying to say is I'm trying to do best for what I see for the township. I'm sorry if you don't agree with that. No one can always be agreeing, but I'm not being petty. I'm trying to get the best for this township. So nothing hiding. Ask me anything, bring it on up.
Public comment.
This is the public comment time?
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry we're late. My name is Peter Rowe. Wanted to make a comment with regards to Mr. Heinz in what he's doing. I live right next door to him. Okay?
So you're on the south of his property?
I am directed to the north of him. Okay, so just a little bit of background. So this is our summer cottage. You know, during the winter time, we do live in Arizona. My wife, Christy, her grandfather was Dr. Larson up in Sheboygan. And so we have a real interest in what goes on in this area. Okay? So of course, my mother-in-law was born and raised in Sheboygan. Just want to make sure you're aware of what has been happening with the property, what's been going on next door. All right, so you're probably well aware Long Point is a very unique community established 110 years ago. It has 8-foot walkways, easements that run from back road down to the lake to the public beach. Noted in the plat running along the waterfront, these are considered easements. Mr. Heinz, who owns the property next to us, knowingly built on the easement that runs through his property. This has been difficult for us to understand because 2.5 years ago, we wanted to put an addition on our property. We went for a variance, property planning and zoning. The variance got denied because 1 foot of our overhang on the addition was gonna be in the easement. So we had to shift our entire addition over 2 feet in order to be in compliance.
I'm sorry, was that denied by the county?
It was denied by planning and zoning,
By the county?
yeah, by the county. Yes, yeah. We were given first right to refusal to buy that property. We passed on it because we were told you cannot build on these. Because in fact, asked about, well, can we, you know, if we own that property, can we then adjoin, our existing property for our buildings to something on there? No, you cannot build on these. So, it appears that he's built his home over the easement on the front of his property, otherwise known as the public beach. He altered the shoreline by bulldozing into the lake, rebuilding it without necessary approval, as far as we're aware. He has 2 docks on his property, and according to the Eagle, you're only allowed 1. He raised his lot level so that it now drains into the adjoining properties, one of which is ours. He knowingly put his fence up with the wrong side facing his neighbors. He did not build his home in the place that was submitted on his drawing to planning and zoning. Planning and zoning directed him to move it 4 feet or so to the right as he looked at the property from the lake. He moved it a number of feet in the other direction, thus building over this 8-foot public easement. We've contacted a number of agencies, including individuals, planning and zoning, county administrator, township, Mayor of Sheboygan, Eagle. And at this point, as far as we know, nothing has been done. Mr. Hines has another property in Indian River, which has violations that have not been corrected and is on the market for sale. He failed to disclose the fact that he needed to make reparations on the sale of property, not until somebody called and told the realtor, did you know this? And we were like, no, I had no idea. So what he wants are the laws that are in place to be enforced. What we want are the laws on the property to be enforced. So I know that, that Mullett Township is part of this suit that he has brought, with which we are also. And what we're asking for is, of course, to side with, no, this is not going to happen, not to replat his property. So, thank you.
Peter, yeah, thanks, Liz.
We spoke about this last summer.
Yes. Yep.
Asking that all the Mullett Township zoning is controlled by Sheboygan County. Mullett Township set that up with the county years ago. So in other words, if anybody wants to build something as you do, go to the county and they give you the right. So, but we have been named in the suit also because the public right of way that's at the public beach, they want us to extend it. I understand what you're saying, Joyce. I heard you. And our board will be after public comment period going into a closed session for a few minutes to meet with our attorneys, to talk with our attorneys, and we'll be meeting with them tonight. Probably going to the firehouse so that we can give a signal. So we can signal moments ago. So hopefully we can get a signal and meet with our attorney. He shows Burt's as well as William Richardson. He's been in contact, I think, about the attorney's about this. So I was told when I first heard about this, that this is a civil matter that's between the people on the in Long Point and possibly the county, because they were involved with zoning and with Mr. Hines. But when he named us in the suit, we then followed up with it. So we're doing what we can to investigate what the options are. At the last meeting, Don Bodner was here. talking about her mother who lives across the street, who lost her dock on the lake. And, subsequently, I've met with, people who live immediately on the other side.
The golf years, so Bill Bridges and,
Yeah.
yep.
And, I don't know if anybody else in the board has been down there to look at it, but I think everybody has. Yeah. So, at this point, I don't have any answers for them. We don't have any answers. We will be talking to the attorneys.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
How did they get the permits to do those things?
Great question.
I mean, did they not get permits? Did they get permits that they ignored? Did they not have inspections after they built the illegal deck and all of that? I mean, those of us that have done
Well,
things on the lake know that you have to get a permit and you have to get inspected. And then if not, you don't build.
Right.
How does he do it?
That's a great question. So when we realized what he was doing, you know, we made a number of phone calls, met with planning and zoning, said, here's what he's doing. They unfortunately didn't do anything.
So he did it without getting building permits or?
He has a building permit, however, what he built does not match what he presented to planning and zoning. Also, and he knowingly did it. I mean, he point blank said to my wife, yeah, I just built on the easement.
So he's gonna ask forgiveness rather than permission.
That's exactly what he's trying to do, because if this suit goes through to his favor, then he's off. He's off. He doesn't have to worry about, you know, the easements, the public beach, which has been used for
Hundreds of
decades.
years, yeah.
And there's probably 20 easements there, so this could be the first step in what anybody could attempt to do. It's all owned by all of us that live in the area in an undivided sense. And so this is the first step.
Unfortunately, I have heard of other instances, not in Mullett Township, but in other places on the lake where similar things have happened, and it's just,
Once a precedence is set, though,
yeah. It's just a bullet,
either
you
in
know?
good or bad, that's what they.
That's right.
There's another property to the north on Long Point where the same exact thing happened and denied. They built, there's two structures. There's 8-foot easement right between them.
Well, again, to Peter's point, what was interesting, his soffit that was 12 feet in the air was a foot over too close to the easement in the air.
Yeah,
And this 3,000 square foot house sets dead center on an easement.
because you asked and he didn't,
Right.
Well,
or you followed the law.
Right.
Well, technically, the easement goes up as well.
so there was compliance to that.
Right.
And they did it. They moved. They redesigned their property.
We're in public comment, Donna. So,
They were talking about the Long Point, issue, which if you have public comment, you're more than welcome to. And we will be talking a little bit more about it later on in the agenda.
Yep, I was definitely, I'm Dawn Bodner. This is my mom, Diane,
Hi.
who's president. She's a resident of Long Point, which I already told you guys all that. Since I spoke to you guys and last, I'd like to thank you for kind of getting the zoning and planning commission kind of involved. We did have John Studer come out and look at everything, and he was completely in shock of what's happened and transpired. And then ironically fell off of a rock that Mr. Hines put in, and it had eroded under the rock and broke his ankle. So he was out of commission for walking for the entire summer, which is not a good thing at all. So he definitely understands what's happening down there, and last, I thank you for coming down and checking it out too. We really appreciate that. We're hoping, we also went to the Board of Commissioners meeting and kind of just presented our plea. So I'm hoping that they're kind of working with us now too, because it's gone on for way too long. And like I said last month, You know, we've made everybody aware of what was happening as it was happening and nothing happened. So, enforcement would certainly be a really good thing, but we certainly like, we're hoping that everybody who's being sued in this case kind of sees what's really happening. Okay? And I did bring some pictures because I think you had reached out, well, I think you reached out to me first.
Yeah, we spoke
For the
about
attorney?
going to the doctor a week or so ago, yeah,
Right.
and then,
And
yeah,
I think Christie is engaged now to our attorney.
I think so. I think she and our attorney have talked.
Okay. And I brought some pictures and then realized that the meeting was over here, so I had to leave. But you told me that last
Yeah.
time, like, that's
And-
completely
and-
on me.
and After public comment, as I just mentioned, we're going to be closing the session. We're going to go into a closed session or an executive session, speaking with our attorney and getting some information. And towards the end of the agenda, we're also going to be talking about this again as a board, depending upon what we hear from our attorney today regarding whether he needs to vote on something. I'm not sure exactly where we are
Is
with
he
it.
here?
No, we're gonna go,
We're gonna-
Zoom, we're going to the other room and do a Zoom with him.
If you wanna take my pictures with me, that's a little helpful
Sure.
or
Like
anything.
we do, sure,
I do
absolutely.
want for one with my grandparents stuff. But,
Okay.
I mean, you can certainly show them up.
Yeah,
We have them
if
displayed in our garage.
you provided those to your attorney, I think he will have had that in his package.
I just got these back today. I was out of town last night.
Okay, I'll certainly show them to him and allow you to forward them to your attorney and they can,
Thank you, I appreciate that.
so, yeah, we're looking forward to hearing what our attorney tells us our options are, if any. Based on a conversation I had with, it's not here tonight, Jim Lay, those properties and the access to there was somebody who was selling property of an old apple orchard, if I, correct me if I'm wrong,
Right.
fruit trees of some kind, I believe it was apple orchard.
Exactly.
And people who bought those properties were then given deeded access through these, either alleyways, or I think they call them alleyways.
Yeah, we refer to them as an easement, but in writing, it's an alley.
Yeah, I think it's an alleyway on the right.
I think if you bought 10 acres in the apple orchard, you got a free lot. And people, obviously, they were 40-foot lots.
Right.
And they obviously bought more lots.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to read this on the computer when you can.
Oh, yeah.
But that's my understanding, and so, it's public. And I don't know how that lines up in terms of legality, it's public to the
Property owners,
to
the back
the
property.
property owners, but not public to anybody who goes down the street, is my understanding, as of talking to the realtor today. And so we'll wait to hear what our attorney says, and we'll, move forward based on our opinion on his recommendation.
For reference, some of the pictures that I have in here was showing that property, like our beach, was in use. Since I have pictures of my grandpa, I don't have pictures of my great grandpa in 1935. But I have pictures of the last 5 generations, like using that public beach that Mr. Hines said it's been vacated and not used.
Right. Yeah, if there's any more comments you want to make on it, now's a good time, or we can do it at the end of the meeting. Yes, choice.
It sounds to me like zoning and planning just screwed up, like, totally.
So they completely
Yeah,
dropped the ball.
They did, okay,
Right.
and if anybody should be to blame, it should be them, because
And
that
they're also the
subdivision
one-
has been there forever and ever. I mean, everybody knew, the bylaws going in, what was deeded access, what was not, the walkway for the waterfront. And then, unless that guy, whatever that you're referring to, went to zoning and planning and didn't put that easement in, okay, on the drawing. But still, I mean, zoning and planning is supposed to know what's going on in Sheboygan County, and
They have
I
all the
don't think
paperwork.
it's a county, I don't think it's a
They do,
Mullett
and-
Township issue, but that's.
Yeah.
I'm
And
gonna
we let
screw
them
up
know,
big time.
let them know when they were building over our easement, when they took our beach, they removed all of our dock sections, hoist, bench at the end of the dock, took it all and, literally threw it in the back of my mom's lot. like, when he bought that, he signed an amendment saying that he was aware of what he was buying and what was happening there.
It's on his deed.
And he just,
If
now
I
he
went up
decides
to
to come
deeds.
and, like, have everybody vacate it, and he likes his free property and doesn't want anybody else around, and we've been there since 1945. It's not right,
And
not
his,
personally, but.
in the letter that the lawyer sent, she said, I don't know what the big deal is on these easements for public walkways. She said, because they stop at the public beach and you can't even get to the lake. It's like, duh. If you're on a public beach, you walk across it and you get to the lake.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not right. And we hope that the township, I really pray that you guys will support what's right.
Okay, I guess, I know. What did, it says on the bill here, Liza, you talked about it, and it says, he emailed you an update and a plan to proceed. What did it say on that plan to proceed?
He was gonna talk with, the county. He was gonna talk with the attorney from the stakeholders on Long Point. And he's gonna see what he could do, dig up the information that he could to understand what our position, what we have the rights to, what are our rights in this matter.
Yeah, how is it a Mullett
But
Township
Mullett
issue?
Township doesn't have any on it.
Well, the only reason we have, in my opinion, the reason we have some sort of standing is because they named us in the city.
I think
We
they
did-
named whoever they could find
Well,
names about it.
But once they did that, they've opened the door for us to have something to say about it.
Well, we have, yes, we have to answer them, yes. And I'm in fully support of it, but we have to be careful only because you know what the lot lines are like around here.
I'm
They're
aware,
all messed up everywhere and we're gonna be defending everyone down that lot line
Well,
that they were just talking about. So we've already spent $1,200 of the taxpayer monies that people don't live down there. And I don't know what to say to them either. I think this is wrong. Don't get me wrong. I am fully so supportive of you and the county should be all over this. But I don't know how, besides us saying, yes, we do not agree with this and we're in full support of what they're
Yes,
doing.
we-
I don't know
to make
what
that
else
kind of
we can do.
statement is fine, but
that's what we need to hear.
Yeah.
But isn't, I mean. All right, let's,
Well, I think it's,
Oh, it's fine,
I
you're
think,
saying
I think it's on our, it's imperative as the board. When something comes to us in a legal way. We have to respond to it. Because that's our job.
I'm saying we have to respond to it, but we have to respond to it.
None of us are attorneys.
No, we're not.
That's why we hire them.
Some of us have common sense.
People here have common sense, I believe, but still they're going through this.
Yes,
That's why
because
we-
they're saying that they need to make the county accountable for this, and the county should be.
yeah, they should.
And we are in full support of that, but as a taxpayer, when somebody else comes up to me and asks me about this, and they say, well, our property lines are all messed up. We're gonna name you in the suit and you have to help us out. It's just like, how do I justify that to other people? I'm like,
It's
okay,
not
let's
about
talk to our.
property- It's not about property lines being messed up, as I see this case, but it's about somebody who had infringed upon others' property lines versus property lines being.
Which
messed
the
up.
county sets and the county has to take care of.
Right,
what's Mullett Township's?
Well, we handed
role?
over the powers to the county
The town-
to deal with planning, zoning, permitting,
Right,
building, all that. I mean, it's in their hands and it's on their watch that they
mhm,
failed.
right.
So, planning and zoning has the authority to have the building moved.
Mhm. I mean, what can we say? We can't, we have no.
All we can do is
authority.
support,
Support.
That's,
that's basically, but.
yeah, if I could just interject, that's really, I think. Your position is just either, yes, we're in support of. The Long Point homeowners, okay,
Yes.
and not in support of Mr. Hines. As you adequately said, he's asking for forgiveness instead of permission, okay? And ultimately, to your point, it does go back to the county as far as coming in and stepping in and doing some enforcing.
Mhm.
So we've been told that if the lawsuit is denied, that the county then has some teeth to go after the guy.
Well,
I think we should go in.
they had the teeth and the
I
right to go
understand.
after. And
Excellent
to this-
point. Right.
To this day, unless he's got it signed off, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but technically, once you have full occupancy permit, I don't know if he does.
He does.
He does,
Okay, well,
but he
That's
doesn't
all on
get
the county.
permits.
Okay.
Yeah,
That-
we
that's
didn't
surprising
drag, we
because
didn't
they're-
drag you guys into this.
No, we know you.
So we're just here giving color to what's all of our issues now.
Right.
Okay.
Right, and it's potentially a slippery slope at some area. So we want to make sure that we're
Totally.
just getting the, and I know it's expensive, I'm not in favor of spending money, frivolously. But I think that, to protect the township, township residents, this is a viable, expense and a reasonable expense at this point.
And hopefully you can sue them for cost. I don't know, I don't know if that's
that's, it might be more cost involved in that expense.
Anyhow, that's where we stand. Are there any other public comments? Hearing none, I'll close public comments, and I'll make a motion to go into closed session. I move that the board meet in closed session under section 8E of the Open Public Meetings Act, MCL 15.268, to consult with its attorney regarding pending litigation, specifically Hines versus the Township of Mullett et al., cause number 23-8962-CH. One, the 53rd Judicial Circuit Court of Sheboygan County, because the discussion in an open meeting would be detrimental to the township's litigation position. And to ensure that we keep it as part of the closed meeting, I'm gonna ask people to either turn their cell phones off or leave them in the room here when we go into the closed session. I'll take one phone there, so if we can't get hooked up on the computer, we can call them because it's going a little crazy, but I'll leave it here until we can't get it. So if we can't get in, but we'll use the computer to try and get in. And, okay, Mike, let's see what we got here. We'll take this to the other one.
I second the motion.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. And this motion needs to be passed by 2/3 roll call vote of the appointed members of the board. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Well, I guess, how much is he gonna charge us to do this part? I mean, how much more will this add to our
I
bill?
guess it depends on how long it takes.
Yeah, because we are already at $1,217.
Right. I don't have an answer.
Yeah.
It depends on how long it takes, but I think
And
it's,
he has not already briefed you on what he thinks our position is.
he's gathered more information in the last 2 days, on Thursday and Friday of last week. He had a chance to meet with Jim Lay over the phone and get some information from Jim that I was privy to. So he's gathering, and he's also met with the council for the people who are on Long Point.
So there are more billable hours than besides this, it's only going through 5/19.
Correct.
Okay.
And I think as a township, it's incumbent upon us to spend this money on behalf of the township to protect the people of the township if we can, and to make sure that we're doing the right things as township board. Any further discussion? That's for a roll call vote, please.
Laz,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Brett,
Aye.
Brenda. Aye. And I will sit down.
The board will move into a closed session. And let me see,
Are we doing it in there?
Yeah, we're gonna step out of the room into the actual fire hall. While we do this, hopefully it'll be 5 or 10 minutes, then we'll come back. I'll pick up the pictures. I would recommend, and you may want to continue to find any recent.
I have some of my grandkids, so I just didn't have. Thank you.
Get in.
One time.
The bones.
I don't know how this guy got it. My typical lunch. How do you get in? And we just built a house and man, there's other old houses.
Yes.
I mean, I kind of like, because you're railing, how tall's the railing?
Yeah, we built twice,
It's great.
and, yeah, so it's amazing.
It's not easy.
But again, moving a soffit, right?
Yeah.
Versus a 3,000 square foot house.
Yeah.
A little easier to see that.
It does make sense.
It makes no sense. And the shoreline thing, what he did with rocks, I mean, that blows my mind. If you've ever tried to do anything. with that,
Oh, yeah. It's the way it was.
Yeah.
But they came back for us, just to even put a silt fence. They are coming in and making sure the silt fence was.
These are boulders, these are huge boulders, you couldn't move them
Just a minute.
if you wanted to.
I was looking on the map, so basically, I don't know, it's long, like, front road, but you get a driveway going through there, and there's people on the water.
Yes,
There's house on the other side, and it's the house on the other side that have an easement. Right to the lake.
all the back properties, yeah, all the properties between, Route 27
Yeah.
and then the beach itself
Okay,
are all part of this Long Point Association. And
okay.
at one time it was an orchard. And it's interesting when you hear the history, they were giving away lake ones, and we bought an orchard.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
Because the lake wasn't worth
Yeah,
it.
yeah, right.
I mean, we're talking like 100 years ago.
So along 27, leading up to the point there, people that have all the houses are on like the west side. Do they say they're yeah, maybe on the right.
On the left.
And there's nothing like the docks, you know, it's just.
Oh, that's not part of Long Point.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a big house that's at the south end of.
Okay.
And then it gets to where Mullett Township, 27.
Yeah.
That's not part of the Long Point.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a whole different.
Oh, it's frustrating, you just not straight up. Oh, yeah, I feel bad for you.
That's great.
So the.
You live there or?
He was off, he read it off, he looked at all the. It doesn't, the driving, don't you have to make them?
And then going in, right there as to the point here, but right out just. Well, they had to.
No, I. Where compromise because I didn't in zoning said, no, you gotta make some new that day and like.
We have to step outside, get outside.
He does.
Yeah, there's something really for them.
I think it's a common story, I mean, not in Mullett Township, but I imagine that would happen. Let's see, you know, the people that bought friends of ours that live like.
Did all of those.
They either places up and I moved, you know, but those are like that there for hundreds of years, you know, a lot of which is fixed on.
I mean, it's just fun.
I would have known.
So you think if this thing gets dismissed,
Yeah, I never.
then, you know, then the county will tell me yes or no to that.
Bill, they'll do that, it's my brother also, Bill. I'm happened to be short, and his neighbor complained, he had replaced it actually. So I would think it's bare minimum.
Yeah.
That's a bare minimum. I'm also wondering what Eagle, which way it's.
Yeah.
They've got pictures of the dirt. So. Yeah.
If I see a building, I gotta really do it. She repeated. We are behind you in spirit. I just don't know if we have. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
When I got the bill, I did kind of take a big stuff, but I thought.
Working in here and go through the road.
Mike's connected to the pipeline. But that, I connected to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's about five.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just trying to generate billable hours. We got no.
Yeah, I came up, I'm connected
Ready?
now, everything.
Okay.
He's on speakerphone. The ones in the Google? The Google, the ones where the screen show. Yeah, she told me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. One second, one second.
Hey, Michelle, just wondering who might have be on Zoom. We saw one name.
So you might have better look at that. We got a guy in town here. Some property association neighborhood. He bought the house that was there. He proceeded to he built this pole barn and he put a fence up there. Right down, yeah, just past the church on the fence. Sutherland and Chapman. But behind the white cab, they're going out of town. There's a lot up there. But anyway, so the guy to the north, he bought a house from the guy who developed all that area. They moved back down the state. He bought this place. He came up with the land. Started not nothing. Yeah, and I was wandering across it one day. He dug a trench from his house, about 8 foot deep, all the way across the road to his pole barn. Put down a gas line, an electric line, a water line, all in the same trench. I just happened to see it now, and they jumped in the trench. We've been going back to see what they call it. Somebody comes down with it, somebody does the cheese.
I'm a major.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Yeah, right.
But that kind of stuff.
And we have had it, like, there's the firm.
Yeah, she doesn't have to be, but-
That's part of my customer description, but I did this. I'm like her.
Yeah. I'm saying that.
You can see it.
I'm saying that, yes, I realize. No, he doesn't.
No, I got it, my neighbor.
You can see right away.
Did she,
He's been right in front of it. He sold that for about 5 years. And in town, my road goes southern down and then the dead end. It's supposed to go down the hill across 27 to the lake. And where that goes, there's no public access there. Okay, there's a little building to the right.
what is she?
That building is built on access.
Yeah.
And I even told Laz about it. Well, it doesn't make it right. I mean, it's been there a long time.
She was trying to-
But they did pick it up at one time. and Put it in.
We don't.
They did. And somebody,
I like
back
her.
from us guys.
The last handful we actually did have, we bought them back.
That was the road edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just go down.
That's all.
But anyways, they want to go in and have that survey. That's.
Our bad, really into getting paint up people.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because I know the only.
They just voted up to her doc, so it's clear that we were using it. He said that nobody was using it. Like, we haven't used it in vacating. Nobody used it. But I mean, he clearly, like, he kind of walked off the dock and I said, you know, remember when she was like, yeah, and I was like. I see if I can. From Friday, what's. Like, walked past me on the dock and I thought. I told my mom, he said. She took the bio. And it's the only time I've ever spoken to her. I said, well, welcome to one, you know.
With my other career, I don't know nice.
All of our families are close, especially now, all the families all grown together.
That's what.
He was just like, walked away. I mean, the summer, my mom went.
Oh, yeah. Don't slip right at you.
What do you do?
That's your guy.
Oh, yeah.
That's all my wife.
This was our path, it was beautiful.
And my grandmother.
This is ours, it's a beautiful, but it, like, this is our backyard.
We drive around.
This is a while ago. Our path has been there forever. Something that we used. And then.
I have seen else other than. But I think I've only seen on there twice now. Where was I? We.
75, right before Wolverine.
Oh, 75.
Okay, okay. And that's his place?
No, my job is. On Facebook.
We called.
They have to like.
There. So this is where.
Really? Just wiped it right down, took our pepper cook, laid it right over that. Yeah, no. So it is very.
That's why I told them.
Yeah.
And about 3 o'clock in the
morning.
morning.
Yeah.
He enters through the dirt.
House and he likes to lay in there in the window. He just started barking ferociously.
And the neighbor about
3 o'clock in the morning. Slams and
That's all they got about it. She's ready. Like our path is. And last year, like he planted all these trees.
Right.
And then put it back down there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That once he passes the water, I mean, I've got the people on the water for a long time, my grandfather was out there, and the neighbors would.
You got wildlife
literally
here.
push
We got, you got. Oh,
Yeah, it's very entertaining to watch our dog come down on the deck from the east and man,
Yeah.
it's kind of entertaining.
Being on the door. And he's out, I'll do it myself.
Sandhill crane. Yeah. So many more rooms.
And they're right back at you, buddy.
This is our.
Waiting for the 4th of July. And all the dirt from up there.
People that live on it, they just want to. For years.
Until last year. Started. It all agreed that was my.
Yeah.
I think they got, he decided he did good. Anyway, so made a big circle on it. Try to go grass with dirt.
Because you've got zoning and you've got building standards. Don't, they're together, but not. So as far as he knows. They're looking at. National Electric Codes, Matt. County Codes, Matt. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh, yeah. See, I was thinking, I didn't realize it was you.
Just seems like he's.
Yeah, you know, there I am. She flows with water, she flows with sauce. And it, zoning permits. Last year. They said. Oh, you have to take a spot. And he didn't tell the difference. Paid, oh, what did he pay? He paid $5.
Oh, free.
And now he started working with Berkshire Hathaway for $1 million.
That's the same thing that guy that I was talking about. And he didn't just say it. And he rents it out. But anyways, he did the same on this. He called Gino in Berkshire. He listed for $1 million, he's gonna be paid like $200,000. Oh my God, you never did sell. Yeah, yeah.
We were rented out. Whole summer, and I'm thinking, goes up to $1 million once, but we can rent it out this and that. And you know how much more money.
That actually.
Here, I've never seen them, they were like, maybe that piece, like this. Yeah, I was telling Karen. Oh, and your family. And.
Time to walk around there.
You could like deal with yourself.
Right, it's go back to the same way. You can't reform it.
And I said.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Then we choose the like sewer guy.
Yep. It's a small area now. What's the same thing with that guy? I'm telling you, whole bar. What he runs that out on the weekends. Take the out of the whole bar. He's got a bathroom. You know, he's got a drum for septic. 55-gallon drum. And you call the health department on there?
There's Neil.
Started our house. We had a lot of water.
I still get 20 seconds to question.
Not like
Yeah.
double bill. I called it a Bruce.
Doesn't matter where you move, you gotta bring it in.
I had my legs were all hurt, so they're trying to make it like, you know, having an hours. So, you know, and I knew. They knew our building. And they would just swing off 27. Then it'll be Tuesday. One inspector out there. The whole glass of summer.
pay somebody.
Don't.
That's what I said.
Just gotta-
Went up to my number. I said, because something's
Something
going on.
fishy. Yeah.
Something's fishy. And it's, you know, and he was like.
Yeah, this guy, we've been, like I said, we've been in the county, I don't know how many times. Everybody knows, he is, cops, know he's gonna call the police on those,
Oh, yeah.
and it's like, nothing gets, I like it, just stand there. Just don't get it.
That's what-
You know, it's like this, you guys, you know, when they built, they go the right way, they get infection, and then you get idiots like that come in. You know what it is. A lot of it is these buildings. It's $100,000. And it can't pay. Those numbers don't get recorded, so the builders don't have anything to do with any, they don't want their name coming up for anything. And that's probably what this guy. Who built it?
Yeah, but I mean, I work.
Yeah.
You know, it's like snails. General dealership. Trucking dealership. 3 car washes. I know.
They got a dog.
Was that?
Something. And if you go to the company.
EMS shows up, it walks in 40 yards.
How is that not?
EMS shows up, like, walking the 40 yards.
I don't get it.
It's a pretty good walk. I mean,
Wi-Fi and they can keep cleaner.
Yeah, no good. And it's getting worse and worse. I have that's kind of.
he just wants to go golf.
It'll get to a point where you hire somebody to sort of. It's just sad too.
Like, I didn't, that's not shit.
Yes.
All the way.
I mean, not even, that's kind of.
He's very very much.
You can't do that.
His back,
Especially water.
I mean, he was burying weight on it, he walked all the way to the roads.
I
I'm like,
sit on the back of the
oh my God, he
This guy, and
Bro.
everybody's like, oh my God.
He broke it.
And everybody's like, you know, what the hell? And I said, no,
The sad thing is, what a judge for everybody around there costs. That association I'm in, one lady sued everybody in there, and she didn't like the way you boarding. And, and we had to lawyer there, I mean, I dropped $7,000, stupid lawsuit.
But.
That was this money.
I'm about ready to
Yes.
Those are the rock slides. I'm not ready.
You get ahead of what you're.
And he made a wash away from his deck.
He said,
Deck was- He goes for you.
I watch his kids grow up.
So the neighbor on the other side, here's on one side, the neighbor on the other side. But he did. And he's got two dogs.
And you guys ever gone, you did work meetings for the.
I
What
did,
county?
I did.
Think so.
I said, all you guys need to go.
Yeah.
Don't give up, just keep on going.
And I'm.
And that was everything is before. I would.
Name on a shirt or something.
And If they can't do it, we're sure of something else. It's like, no,
I know.
that's a big, we got this.
They know this business is
In
like-
Mullett Township. The board wasn't doing this, they voted. on it.
But he said, and he said,
This is part where you, everything.
and we also.
You should. I was wrong.
And then
I was voted for the last. I put the other. Part. We told the dirt.
I'm sorry.
Out. The dirt on the ground. I mean,
I wondered how this guy like found this place. Like, sit on the dock and like, nobody from this property's even there. I was like.
Oh,
no, we walked on our.
And redid it the way you want. We had to walk away.
okay.
We had to have a survey against the stakes.
Well, I'm a big.
So he lost on the other side of the road.
This one.
And he was standing.
The front.
Like it was like on our path.
Dark brown. Yeah, it's.
Is there other joints along?
Yeah, there's usually one access to the whole.
I would say.
And then.
Yeah, I never said it.
I'm not gonna say anything.
They did right.
Because, State. And I'm.
When they.
I said, hey,
it was a
Get guys out here to get it. He says it's right here. Oh, no, I just barge in the water and get it.
And so then that burned down.
I'm like,
and
there's icicle floating.
They just moved it
What's up,
over
these guys?
toward the.
I guess it's there now.
Easement into, or 4 lots. Actually, that's it. 2 lots. So they. They just. They said, everybody was going to this like numbers.
Yeah.
And trailers are.
Poor guy.
That was it.
Yeah.
Quiet. Now it's like.
Can't see out of it.
He got a survey. We said, no, that's. People didn't want to be down and stuff. Survey thing.
There's no words. Well,
But I.
Yeah, like, I like it. Right. Yeah, I know, yeah, you know, how old the guy is. I don't think they, last page of the butt, you know, it's like that guy. This house is not allowed. Yeah, this house is not allowed.
And then this is when we get it. And this is all connected and then goes down and it goes under the driveway and it. You know, the 500 and
Yeah, mistakes are important.
I think he broke it apart and turned it out. So after everybody left, the guy go to Florida
He was- yeah, yeah.
in November.
Oh, yeah, that's maybe it's on the notes, something, everybody's gone.
Yeah,
that I heard.
And I started.
I gotta call him. I like it. Maybe.
Right.
Won't be here for catching on fire. Not encourage you, your house on fire to get rid of fence. But if that fence is in my guy's way, believe me, it'll go.
Double. He has like a double construction. Yeah. And 15 dollars. He did 5 on Wednesdays, 4 on Thursdays. Last year. He's gonna fall. And this is, I thought the great law of nonsense. This is out here, would have been there since 1957. And here, inches from your house.
But he was cool. They got that. Like, those are not covered. Yeah, but this
And Peter's driveway is next to it.
they do.
And so we got her.
Because if you go to the zoning page, it's this, City of Sheboygan, Mullett Township, and like Max. Are the ones that are exempt from county zoning.
Something else.
I remember.
I mean, this is. You know, it's really you know, about Sheboygan. And you look, raising that so far, that this is access coming in like on the neighbor shop.
Yeah, so now we're water.
We're showing them.
Oh, but
And
and it's first.
I think they have those screwed up.
Oh.
Yeah, anyway.
Correct, it's unbelievable. And that's from here to, oh, that's where he goes.
No, I don't know. And then he said,
Just saying.
right.
That's a good thing, because he can me right now.
Right, he is.
And-
Actually, he did tell me that,
Doing that.
because I had a very long conversation with him at the end of the symposium.
Well,
And-
I'm coming in.
Wait a minute.
Doing this.
it's all his, it's all his HP trucks, it's got all this crap like this. It's- Yeah.
That's like.
Shrink, he's got,
This is that.
he's got a, pump, tucked in the leg.
Yeah, no, it's.
And then he's got a sprinkler system under the grass that went on to do. And he's sprinkling the leg. Sprinkling the leg. And I got home on a Sunday. And Monday.
I think I remember the something 21 school.
Yeah. Because it's just gonna get worse. One person gets with it, the next one gets with it. I don't get it.
That's where the. When they got.
I don't think
We're going to call the meeting back into open session. Closed session is now adjourned. We'll go on with the, I move that we bring the session back into open session. Second by Brett. Any discussion? All in favor? Do we need a roll call on that too? All in favor, say aye. All opposed? We're back in open session.
Res, do you wanna, just say what?
Yeah,
so they
so
can- they-
people
they
don't,
want.
right, yeah, so you don't have to wait till the end. In a nutshell, is we're supportive, we spoke with the attorney, and we're supportive of the residents that have been enjoying with us in the action. That's all I can say right now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Of long.
So that's all we're allowed to say because of the litigation.
Got it.
Is there anything that we can?
They're gonna let us know, I think.
He's gonna file them.
With your
spots on Friday.
Okay, with your,
And
okay,
he's going to.
so not by us.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you. Really appreciate it.
So if you wanna leave, you can.
Oh, you want to get out of?
No, you.
No, well, if you want to, but we know you're a long ways from home on this side of the world.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And if you need pictures, I have them.
Okay, so we're gonna approve or revise the agenda. I'd suggest we take the Mullett Lake matter off the bottom of the current business. Any other revisions to the agenda? I'll accept the motion to approve the agenda. Take a motion. Moved by Brett.
Second.
Second by Mike or Brenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Approval of the minutes from the meeting of May 8th, 2023.
Make a motion to approve the May 8th meeting minutes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Paying the bills. We have a motion to pay the bill. Need a motion to pay the bill. Second.
Second.
Any discussion on paying the bills?
I did have one little question, the lighting, I think for the sign was like 10 times more than it was previously.
It wasn't for the sign.
Was,
Are you sure? Was it for the sign? We haven't seen the bill, but I'll tell them about that.
Oh, okay.
I have a copy of it.
I think it went to $23 or something like that. Was that
Yeah,
what
it's
you're
just,
thinking?
it was very low, and
Yeah,
all of a sudden it was way up here.
I wonder if it's an actual read. Would you turn around and look and see if it was an actual? read?
It said actual.
And I don't know if it was estimated before. I can't imagine there's anything different.
Oh, yeah, here it is. Top road sign.
Yeah, top of the road.
Yeah, so it's, if you can
Oh,
see,
yeah, it did shoot way up. I have no idea. I didn't think I didn't even notice that. It could be an actual read, maybe. I don't know.
it does say actual next to it, whereas before everything was under 35. And now it's up at 103.
103 kilowatts, you mean,
Yeah.
or something? I have no idea. If we see it continuing that way, we'll follow.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor of paying the bill, say aye.
I,
Opposed? Pay the bills. Okay, next thing on the agenda is the reports, the treasury report, Brenda.
If anybody wants, there's a spreadsheet in the back. I'll just go over really quick. General fund 943, fire fund 895, light 25, liquor 374, library 19. Tax fund, it's just the remaining bits that I need to, like refunds that are going through 1,000. And for total funds of 1,885,000.
Good question on the liquor. Did we transfer the funds to the liquor? We haven't done that. Yet, 'cause I know we've got some money in.
Yep.
We're not running out of money.
No, we
haven't
usually
made the
wait
transfer.
until it needs to
Okay,
transfer.
Oh, that's what I thought. It's usually 160 a month or so.
Yeah, it was 161.
Is there a motion to accept and file the treasurer? You make a motion. Moved by Brett, second.
second.
By Mike. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? File the treasurer's report, the clerk's report.
You guys have a copy of that as well. Nothing, too unusual. Probably the biggest expense in the general fund was our MTA dues, which were $2,400. Everything else was kind of par for the course, if there's anything else that was large. So, it's, 14,721 for the general, 1,900 for fire, 161 for liquor, 361 for streetlights, and the library is 336.57 for total expenditures of $21,074.70. You guys have, you have the entire budget there if you need.
I'll make a motion to accept the first report.
Any discussion on the clerk's report? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
I,
All opposed?
And we balance.
For the, how many months is the accountability statement? I'm just trying to think how many months started in November.
Close to 30 months.
Yeah, over 30 months, I think. That's good batting average, 100%.
There is something I want to throw out before Mike and Brett see it and pass out. We got a bill from Consumers Power for about $3,600. On the street light. So I picked up, well, luckily, I said something to Brenda, and she said, there's a message on my machine. So we played it, and it's called Jeannie, blah, blah, blah. So I called her up. And I said, what's going on? And she said, well, we changed the way we send out our bills, and then doing so, I found out that your bill had been stuck in the system for 10 months. I said, yeah, I can see that. So she says, do you need payment plan? Some payment plan? I said, no, we don't need a payment plan, but I need a bill for every single month. So I said, you know what I thought? I assumed that we had finished our LED installations, and that's why we weren't getting the bill anymore. But that wasn't the case. So you'll see the bill, and you'll see all of those things attached, and I had to post the last 10 to the previous fiscal year and the next 2.
So 36
It was about 300 to 200.
divided
depending on the
by
month.
10.
Yeah, it
Okay.
just looks shocking when. you
Would
see
it that have been in line with the prior bills prior
Yeah,
to
so,
that?
so I said to Brenda, we're gonna obviously eat up the
Some of it, right?
fund a little bit faster. And we may have to make a budget adjustment, because we made an assumption when we made the
We thought it was
budget.
gonna be another 2 years before we had to add to it.
Yeah, but we'll be okay for this year, and
Next year we'll have.
yeah, and you can play with it next year. So that was kind of shocking, to say the least. And I said to Brenda, I'm really gonna give her a piece of my mind. So when I got off the phone, I said, how did I do it? She said, you didn't give her a piece of your mind. You were really nice. But anyway, and then I had to take, I'll look for who's here. Okay. I had to take all of our equipment down, all of our Dominion equipment down to run security checks, and
Even the big voting machine.
well, luckily I could take the guts out, because I was really irritated thinking about, trying to schlep that tabulator down to the, and go up to the second floor. Cause I called up and I said, can't we at least do it in the commissioner's room? And they said, no, you gotta do it the second floor, or we'll have people there to help you. So anyway, took those down and they ran some stuff and did some security updates anyway. But while we were sitting there, all the clerks are sitting in the hallway, because of course they weren't on time or anything. So we're talking, and Karen comes out and says, we are gonna have a school election in November, and Inland Lakes is going for another
They're going
village.
again.
Yeah, they're gonna try again. And we're gonna have to do a consolidated election with Tuscarora, and there'll be 5 other townships with us. And then Bert will have the other few from their area. So anyway, I said, I'm not too thrilled about that. I'd rather handle my own.
So where is this? Is
It'll-
it on site?
In Tuscarora, and I asked a bunch of questions, and she said, I don't know, we don't know, we don't have a roadmap, and all this. I don't know whether we take our tabulator down, whether I sit there with Joyce and I sit down there with our poll book and just handle our voters. I don't know how it works, but anyway. And of course, Jay has never run an election, so I think Karen will be down there to oversee it and walking through it, yeah. So anyway, that'll happen in November, and we only have 332 voters in Inland Lake, so it's not a huge number, but just so you guys know that we'll be down there. So
And
that was,
you're gonna be down there for 9 days.
no, we're not required to do early voting for local elections. And Karen is gonna try to get each of us our own absentee ballot, so Joyce and I can handle the absentee ballots ourselves. But on day of election, we'll be down in Tuscarora. I think there's 5 townships, 5 or 6 townships that'll be down there.
Yeah.
So anyway, just to let you guys know what's
Well,
happening.
I'm glad it's not 9 days in advance. that you have to do it.
I am too, because it's 8 hours a day, 9 days, and we have to have, I have found out, we have to have 3 inspectors for those 9 days.
Oh, during the.
During the state and national election. So. Yeah,
That's what we voted on.
that's
We got
what they
to-
voted on, yeah, anyway, I think that's the only news in the clerk's office. Anything else, Brenda? Okay.
Thank you very much. And I'm sorry we have to go through that going down.
Oh, it's fun, it was kind of fun, all of us complaining in the hallway together.
Sort of like waiting on life to pick the time, when we were much younger, right?
We had a lot of fun.
I spent 24 hours once in front of the Chrysler Arena for tickets to the Moody Blues on their first last concert too.
So you formed a lot of friendships.
Yeah,
right?
throw the frisbee, you're on
Yeah.
top of it, throwing the frisbee. It's
kind of fun.
probably no case of beer. Get the chat. Okay, top of the fire department, Mike.
Okay. So for top three, we had 13 runs in May. 5 EMS, 8 fire, 5 runs in Mullett, 6 runs in Burt, and 2 in Tuscarora district. I think probably 1 Tuscarora and 1 Kohler. Anything from a Instapot blowing up to building fires and wildfires with the weather we've had. Other than that, our new wildfire extrication gear was delivered. So I'm gonna be working here the next week to finalize that grant and get the $5,000 back from the state. And then as far as this side of the lake, they had 5 runs. They responded to 2. There's no way for me to assign an incident number or track it if they don't go. I looked through all our tallies and there's not a oops button in there. Fortunately, they weren't anything major. They were just a fall, no injury. But the scarier part is that one that happened on the 21st at 5 o'clock. They actually dropped tones for the fire department as well as the first responders, because that ambulance was coming from Onaway and still didn't get anybody to respond. Other than that, everything's going pretty well.
So on the one that you just referenced, we're waiting for an ambulance for Hanaway. Was that picked up by mutuals, by aid from someone locally? Or no?
Actually, the county sheriffs came and were able to get the lady out. And it did indeed cancel Onaway too as well. But it was still a pretty lengthy wait. And I've actually had some emails back and forth with Central at the dispatch, because the one on Friday night, the 20th, that if I pull up their run sheet for it, that point blank says the guy, when he called, I called 2 hours ago, how come nobody showed up? So I kind of tried to inquire with dispatch, hey, where'd this ball get dropped? And I kind of got a runaround that it was, they took a 911 hang up call. They called the number back. There was no answer. They text the number. So then I was like, well, with the call history in your guys' software, is it just by address or does that phone number bring up a call history? And I got led down a rabbit hole about phase 1, phase 2.
Right.
I honestly think the dispatcher didn't look up the number. And if they would have had the address and could have sent a lot of check on it then, which I would imagine is protocol, but they're short-staffed and pulling their hair out.
Yeah, we were talking about, they have even senior managers working the phones down there right now. They just can't find people. If anybody knows anybody who wants a job, they're available at 911. And that's in Charlotte, Boy, or
Toski.
So,
Right, approximate, say roundabout like where the water tower is in Toski, you'll be really close to 911.
okay.
And all their runs were EMS, so we didn't have any fire runs over here.
I'll ask you if I know we've had no burn days going on, and occasionally, you smell a little smoke, and you know whether it was from Canada or from somebody doing one.
The haze has definitely been from Canada.
Yeah, the haze.
It's not there in Saginaw, then it's from Britain.
Okay, so have we had many residents who were, scofflaws, if you will, about the fires?
We have had one that we had to respond to, well, two that we responded to. We've had one that the DNR responded to, on the conservation officer side, and took care of it himself. I can take that back, we had three we responded.
Is that what, one, the one that says unauthorized burning?
Yes. So the unauthorized burning, and there's been, I want to say 2 in this month already.
We blame, and somehow people need to learn not to.
So that one up 27 near Long Point was that one, and then there's been 2 off of Ranch Road. I think one in our township, one in Burt, and then there's been one right in, I guess, top of the proper up on top of the hill. And that guy, he had it in a burn ring, but was on the other side of his house right in, so I think they put it out because he wasn't in attendance. With our state wildfire laws, we're all sitting back with popcorn, waiting to see what's going to happen with Grayling, because with that being traced back to a private campfire, that guy's potentially liable for the entire suppression costs.
Oh, my goodness.
Of all personnel, equipment, and everything.
Wow.
Which, as soon as that drops, then come the civil suits for any damage. I mean, everybody will come out. We were preparing to harvest the wood from this property. That's gonna get really messy.
And if they're burning inside a fire ring and they're attending it.
Is that
doesn't let
okay?
you off the hook.
If they're attending it, yes, but if they are still liable if it gets away from them.
Right, that's what I'm saying, yeah, so it's
So
not.
I've kind of changed my message when people are asking me now,
Yeah.
because it used to be, well, yeah, as long as you're in an approved ring, but you better make sure it's out. And you better be there.
Now you're
And
saying don't
those
ever.
sparks will be,
You can burn in the ring, but you have to be watching, because you are liable if it gets away from it.
but a spark can still get,
Yep.
out, even if it's in the ring, so the best answer we could give people is just don't burn.
In fact, the manpower, the second mutual aid call to Tuscarora was paged out as a trailer fire, but was actually more of a woods fire, was his campfire that he tells us he put 2 buckets of water on.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, the bucket he used, he put in the shed, which is now gone.
On a related, if they have a gas fire thing like on the deck, is that permissible, being the fact that it's alternate fuel?
Yes, because it's
Like a
still, it's still
propane.
in that contained
Okay.
setup. I like them better than the chimney ones,
Yeah,
them pump sparks,
chimeneas, yeah.
they're brutal.
Yeah, and another question is, because I was downstate actually, and I saw on the news that their General Motors has done something supporting local fire stations and teaching them how to suppress fires with the electric, so you're safer when you're putting out the fires with the electric batteries in cars.
Yep.
Have they approached you on that, or?
They haven't, we've done some local trainings, and the county actually bought us these fire blankets on steroids that we can throw over up to a truck. To kind of snuff it out and move it if we have to. We'll see. Somebody younger than me needs to carry it, that's all I'm saying.
Probably a couple somebody's that would.
It came with backpack straps, but I think a wheel kit would have been more appropriate.
Thank you very much, Mike, and for all you and your team do. And we have a chicken dinner coming up August
20th.
20th. And a couple people said they were new to the township. The Tappan Beef Fire Department, which is across the lake, has a marvelous chicken dinner. It goes from noon to when they run out. It could be anywhere. from 2
Yeah,
to 3.
ideally noon to 4, but it's been,
Are you up in your number of chicken dinners you prepare?
is Mel watching on the video?
Oh, no.
We are anticipating going up probably another 100 this year.
Similar setup to last year?
You're gonna walk them out to the car and.
Yeah,
They're not gonna sit around and eat them at the pavilion or whatever.
the guys would probably overthrow me if I tried to go back to all the moving parts of moving back to the plant.
Yeah.
Except for Mel, he wants to, but it's a lot of work to move it.
Right, you got a good system going.
No, and anybody paying attention on the video, make sure you're there, be there early. Because one year I got there about 3 o'clock and sorry, we were already sold out, so. Get there early, it's a real good event, and you can eat in the pavilion on top of it, or take it home, whatever works for you. So, thank you again, Mike. Okay,
Oh, Mike did get the light fixed in the ballroom.
oh, good,
Oh, that's probably under Mike, that's probably under maintenance.
that's okay. Question about the lights in here, they're on 24/7, and I know that I think Denise was saying, were you saying that the bill's hitting?
We know, yeah, Joyce noticed that it was on all the time, and, when I was paying the bills, she said maybe that's why it's up so much.
I don't know, is there a reason they need to be, I know you're not in charge of this station, I understand that.
It appears every light on that side of the wall was on when I came in.
I do not think there needs to be a reason, but that's just the way it's always been done, is what I'm told. Or have heard.
I saw a bunch of, cords, and I wondered if they were charging something like a battery and lights had to be on for some reason.
There should be there's probably a cord that drops down to each truck,
Okay,
but
but that's not why the lights are on, but lights don't have to be on for those things to be charging.
Correct.
Okay.
And it looks like the lights in this truck as you're looking out to the left, got some brake lights on or something.
Well, does that fall under the purview of the?
They're not on now, but they,
Like I said, I think I took care of that problem.
Okay, good. Thank
what
you.
was that? Is
There was a
it-
battery switch on that truck.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't want the truck, you want the truck to be able to go when it needs to go. Right, thank you. And let me ask another question. If we get everybody to agree, if we put in a motion sensor so the lights would pop on immediately when people came in, they wouldn't have to worry about coming into a dark station. As an electrician, I'm asking you to put your other hat on. Is that?
That's fairly, I'd have to look at it, but it should be fairly easy to do.
And not overly expensive.
No.
Maybe that's the solution, at least.
Is that the reason that they're on, so that people don't have to walk into the dark?
It's a conjecture. I don't know. Yeah,
That could be, you see a lot of departments go to the glass doors so that the taxpayers can see what they bought.
Okay.
I've heard that argument before too from different fire chiefs, but I just know these ones have always been on,
Mhm.
probably longer than I've been here.
Gotcha, okay.
Well, habits become traditions or whatever.
What if firefighters hate?
Yeah.
Anything new?
I know they were on in the 90s when I lived down there.
That's a long tradition.
That means it's been on for many, many years.
Is a losing battle to get them to go on?
No, we're gonna get to 35 years, not flipping the switch, we might have to put a new switch in.
I would bet if we shut them off when we leave here, they will be back on within 48 hours.
No, I'm sure it will, but that's what we need to have a discussion and create.
If we shut them off, Joyce, can you let us know if they go back on?
I can do that, yes, I can.
And she's our little east side, watch.
They've just always been
I
on.
just don't understand, I mean, that's a lot of money, I mean,
Right,
or to have them off, or whatever, I mean,
or have Mike install
yeah.
Before I leave, I'll leave one on and turn the rest off. That way there's one light on. So it's not totally dark.
See what happens.
You can put night lights in a plug, it probably costs like a penny a day.
Yeah.
okay, we'll work on that, thanks. Cemetery reports, Mike, correct? Mike?
We had our Bert Mullett cemetery meeting on 15th of May. And the budget for 2023 to 2024 of $8,400. Which is about similar to years past. One of the biggest expenses, the cleanup of cemetery, just because of the old growth trees and everything. I mean, it's that's a big expense, and whatever lawn cutting there is, we're trying to get that knocked down, because I think there's more areas of less grass, no grass than anything, but
Very shaded over there.
yeah, yep, not much grass grows.
Right.
So
The only variable in his budget for this year is he's got one large old tree that's starting to die out. If it were to all come down at once, it would be a big task. He was gonna look into possibly trimming down the dead stuff for now, seeing if it can get at least through the year. But at some point, there's gonna be a large tree that needs to be addressed in the bird mullet. Over on Oak Hill, we have a bid to put up the fencing for the back part of it. We are all posting it online or on the boards over there if anybody local wants to go on it. So we do have, if we don't get any new bids, we do have somebody to go and fence in the back part, which is the primary new project for this year. And then in future years, we'll look at mapping out some roads and doing some landscaping, so to speak, leveling it out and slowly prepping it for use down the future. We're gonna sit down in August and finalize all our ordinance and rules. Then that will be posted and it'll also be sent out to be approved by each township, so it will be sent over to us. And we'll get all that going, so that's what's going on over there.
Any, what happened with the flag issue? That you
They
mentioned?
were real nice flags, probably about this tall.
Mhm.
I mean, this far off the ground and probably
Were you
that.
able to figure out the
The,
veteran graves or just these ones that had the? flag?
there was a, out of Tuscarora, they did the Burt Mullet one for some smaller flags. And then out of Sheboygan, they did it for,
Okay,
yeah.
so the veterans did it for you.
Yeah, there's a committee, a veterans committee where they, identify them and come out and actually put them in.
Mhm. Right.
Any other questions about the cemeteries? Okay. Burt Trail report.
For the Bird Trail report, the grant that they were gonna use to possibly work on the west side was denied earlier in the spring.
Oh, our $90,000.
That's the west
Oh,
side.
that's, okay.
Okay, so that was, it goes on a point structure. Let's say it's 100 points, is perfect. You need 80 to pass. They ended up, I think, in the 20 range. So they're talking to the writer of the grant to see if they even think about rewriting it, if they can even get to a position where it would be accepted. So the bird is gonna.
Gal doing it that, what's her name, that one of the been working with you?
Becky.
Is Becky working on both of those?
I believe she
Okay.
was the one doing that. The one for the east side was submitted. The responses should be back. We're hoping in early August to know if we pass. If that does, the monies would be assigned to us and probably targeted 2025. Go. The other big thing they got going on is working with U of M to pave the parking lot at the gorge because they get a lot of sand and wash out there. So they're in conversation with the contractor and with U of M to get that approved and to move forward there. So,
Okay, and that's a trail, if you knew it goes, it's currently going from Burt Township, which is west of our township. And it comes down Riggsville Road. And then meets up by Hockey's off of Mullett Burt Road, and then eventually. We'll come down through Mullett Burt, through Tappan V and connect to the rail trail. And then it will effectively at some point. Go further west and we'll connect Lake Michigan to Lake Huron. You can ride all the way up, back up to Mackinac City on it, right? Yeah, so. It's been in construction for a while, that's the goal. Okay, the maintenance report. I guess I'd like to start first over on the east side here. Joyce has gotten a couple of, we've got 2 estimates, right?
Yes. Is that under maintenance or under, Boy Scout?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's under Boy Scout.
Yeah.
Under maintenance, I I think we're getting better. We're not where we want to be yet. I did have a question from Turtle yesterday. He said that he came over to clean up the hall last night where the family had rented the hall Saturday and Sunday. And he ran into the family while he was having dinner. And they said that they had put their garbage in garbage bags and left a tip on the garbage bags. And when we got to the hall to empty the garbage and we just collected the tip too, the garbage wasn't there, and neither was the tip. I don't know if anybody happened to go in and move the garbage or not. He got there last night, said around 9 o'clock. So.
I was there Saturday and it was smelling, so I took it out and I gave Denise the tip and told her today it went into the deposit. Into the township.
If it was for him, then we can, you know.
We should make that right.
But it was, you know, it was laying just a $20 bill on top of the garbage
I
bag, so
understand.
he had no way.
No, I'm not suggesting anybody had any way of knowing. I'm just that he asked if they had told him that. So I told him I'd try and get an answer. So we can do that. Someone would get him.
I can either put it on his paycheck or, as a reimbursement, so it wouldn't be taxable, but, or else you can take it out the bank, I don't know.
I'll be back to you.
And is he checking when they go in and out because there was a table broken?
I think he is, and I thought he was, so I'll double check him.
Okay.
Or do we know who broke the table?
No, because I don't know who checks it when they come in and when they go out, so I have no idea.
Because it was rented a couple times that weekend.
Yeah.
And the same people rented it both days.
Oh, okay.
So whatever. Whoever checks it, so I don't know how to answer that.
Technology report.
Two things to report. Ken was in and got the email set up on, for Brenda and the, deputy treasurer. So that has been taken care of. We came out here last week. We made sure that, we had access here, which we were on the main, not on the guest network. As you can tell, it's working. I updated yours, so I think we would connect now too. So, that's done and, we're good to go.
Okay. The library report, Denise, did you get the copy of what?
Yeah.
I've got it
Okay,
here.
go ahead.
Here it is.
I have it right here.
We can put it in the,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, somewhere else. I can see. It looks like basically, we did get, by the way, we did, you mentioned this in her report, we did get a, bond from, a surety bond from our insurance agent so that Bridget could get her notary license.
She went to the court thing, today.
Good, excellent. So Adam took care of that, and it was a good thing that we called because he had completely forgotten about it. So she said she's working on a grant, is for small rural libraries, for between 500 and 10,000, depending on how she writes it. So we don't know how much she'll get. She's gonna enhance the children's book collection with that. She's focusing on summer traffic and story time activities. So, and she and Bridget are dividing the hours, so they're both getting some much needed days off.
Good.
So everything's going great at the library. We hear nothing but raves about the library.
And just so I'd like to promote an event she's gonna have July 25th. Am I right on that?
Is that the mermaid?
The mermaid, we're gonna have a mermaid coming to our library. Not many people have libraries around the lake. And even less people have a mermaid comes coming up to entertain the kids. That starts at 11 o'clock in the morning. And
So the mermaid will swim up to the shore
Mhm.
and read a book to the children that are gathered for story time. Yes, it's gonna be quite fun.
if you have kids of that age
Or grandkids that come up to visit, yeah.
When is that, July what?
20, that's the 25th. It's starting. The story hours start,
At 11.
but no,
Oh,
the date
every
was
Tuesday,
starting next week. I think,
yeah.
Right? And
Oh, the other thing, I don't mean to address everything to the new residents, but we've got because it's an old train depot. Have you been in the library?
Oh, yeah, we're just newly full-time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, have you seen the new trains that he's got in there? So if you have grandkids that come up, our grandkids love to go down and watch the trains and they're pretty cool. So,
Yeah, we'll be doing that.
yeah, that's fun.
On the library, Mike, I don't know if you can stop over there, but on the outside, there's a cable or something that's running from the telephone. And then there's one hanging on the ground on the left-hand side that doesn't seem to be attached to anything. And Judy was asking me about it.
Something must have clipped it
But it's not.
before the weekend or over
is
the
it
weekend.
anything- Can it be just?
As long as her phone and computer is still working, it's apparently one that wasn't being used.
So just.
It looks like
have her
it's
click it?
communications of some sort, and
That's
it's
good.
not Charter, because Charter comes in on the other side by the fan.
So what should I say to her about that? Where is? Got it?
Good.
Is it, you don't know if it's a live wire.
Well,
No,
it-
it's not live,
just-
because it's not,
It's just
Okay.
sitting there. I mean.
the other half is laying on the ground.
Yeah,
next to the
laying on-
pole across the street.
So,
And it's not cable from Charter.
No, it's phone,
Oh, it's phone.
because the Charter box is over by the meter bag.
And we're not using the AT&T phone over there.
No.
well,
So maybe it's an old AT&T line, is that your thought?
That's the best guess.
well, I guess that you guys have to add that on your maintenance end because there's cable wires all over outside hanging about.
Actually, honestly surprised we didn't get page 2, but
Well, I kept riding my bike by there. I'm like, what is this here? And so I went in and talked to them.
Oh, Laz, back when I forgot I had some notes about, I went over to Boy Scout Park, which we'll talk about later, but the buoys are not in.
Buoys aren't in anywhere yet. I've
Okay.
talked with Brian Wallace about it. He had hoped to have them done by last weekend. Now we're hoping to get them done by this weekend. He said the weights at the bottom, remember how in the past was the problem?
Right.
Were flopping over,
Right.
needed to be reset up. So he was going to the cement company to get some more weights.
Okay.
That'll put them up correctly.
Okay.
Okay, that's the challenge there. Yeah, he thought he'd have it done by last Friday, so hopefully by this Friday. Blight, Mike.
We had 2 blight complaints submitted in May. One is for the light blue house on the north side of Toppinabee, owned by Tom Bingham. When I spoke to Josh, he indicated that it is not blight. So he suggested that I contact Matt Kronk of the zoning. After explaining the site of the property where it was, he sent a letter out to Tom. And then on 5/23, he actually spoke with Tom, who indicated he planned on coming to the area in mid-July to possibly set up or work on getting the building torn down. He is thinking about possibly selling the property, either as a vacant piece of land or if he puts something else on it. So that's what he indicated. So right now, it's not considered blight by the sheriff's department. And that was, it sounds like Tom is looking to do something with the property. And he will be up in mid-July. The other one was submitted for 5381 Numbers Road. That was the one that was actually approved for blight last fall. Over the winter, the sheriff's department it's hard to enforce anything over the winter due to the snow. I called him, Josh, several times. I did not get a response until today. I found out he was in training, out of the area. So, spoke to him. He's gonna have his deputy go in, re-inspect. There is a car facing the wrong direction, just off the side of the road with no plates on it. So that sounds like a probable violation. They're gonna follow up with the status of the initial citation that was issued in the fall. If it hasn't gone through into the court system, it will be pushed into the court system.
Have you given these, like in the past, you've given them property A, B, C, D, E?
Yeah.
Have you given them, that's probably how they should be addressed, especially in the moment.
Yeah,
Do you
it
have
was
one?
L and M.
Okay,
L is straight
first one?
highway
okay,
and M is numbers.
okay.
Any more questions about what? Roads, we spoke earlier about the brining scheduled to start on the 19th, but that's a moving target. Should be Brian between the 19th and the 30th of June. The goal is before 4th of July, so it might leak into the 1st or 2nd. We're also gonna be having, the fellow who runs the east side here, Rob, is going to handle the reconstruction of Blue Water, which will save us some money. It doesn't have to go out to bid, it's free graveling. So he can do that and save the township some money and do just as good a job as they did up in Top and B last year when they did it. So it saved us some money going that direction. I don't have a scheduled date for Woodruff or Mullett at this point in time. It's scheduled to be done before October 1st, but I'm guessing it's gonna happen in August. That's it for roads at this point. Any questions on roads? Okay, Woodruff launch, it's good, Peter.
I finally reached Brian actually last week. I left a number of messages and he must be working on a project. It's kind of out of the area, or, yeah. Because I've been wanting to meet with him down at the launch. I've looked at other launches, and one of the main concern is with the dock system we have now, as it sits there and kind of teeters on the rocks that are supporting the ramp going up to the, we can't have that to transition to a steel dock system, like the ones that are used in our boat launches. You literally have to have the cement pad for it to sit on and to be pushed out into, and that doesn't exist. I mean, I hate to say it, it might get to the point where we have to have, whether we have the engineering that worked on the original pads. I mean, another pad put in, or see if we have enough space. I don't think we have enough space to have it sit on the pad, because they're, you know, whether we can then take a pad and have it be, you know, you've got a couple pads we're sitting this way, whether we can put another pad perpendicular to it. That to me has to be figured out. We just can't have this thing built without, there's some legwork that has to be done before this, to make sure it's done right. So I'm supposedly have a meeting with Brian at 8 a.m. Wednesday morning at the launch. He and I have talked about it. We both have the same concerns and stuff, and see what we can kind of come up with and what the next step is.
And I'm currently playing phone tag with a lady who, she and her husband came into the dock and.
She's very upset. She fell. I think that's almost a liability. I think we need to almost take it out, not even have one there, because we can't properly maintain it. Or we're not properly maintaining.
Well, there's I don't know what happened, but I mean, it is it's not that dock system is not designed to hold up to public traffic for, you know, I don't know what the percentage is of people that don't know how to back up a boat trailer or know how to drive a boat. But I mean, I can launch a boat and everything looks square and set up and come back at the end of the day, and it's like, wow, what hit all this? Because I know it's all just,
it's horrible.
it's
Terrible.
I mean,
People hit the dock.
I think the trailer.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
hit it more than the boat.
yeah.
And trailers have been an ongoing problem.
It's been an ongoing problem with most people that buy a boat or what have you, or any trailer that don't know how to back up anything.
Yes, that's one reason I don't have a boat. I don't know how to back. I'm not, so I don't do that, so.
But there's a lot of people that use that launch that don't know how to back up. I've backed up quite a few boat trailers before there for people. I got tired of waiting, so just abandon your vehicle, please, I'll back it up.
I know, but it's
Well,
I understand.
the sunrise and the sunset in the same day, so.
It's nice how you do it. So
What do you think we should do? I mean, we had,
I don't, I mean, it's, if you, you know, it's a,
I don't know if Brian can.
I mean, there isn't, isn't there, don't we have a sign that says use at your own? It is public, use at your own risk and everything, I mean, it is.
It's bad though right now. mean,
Well, I
it's-
realize that, but I mean, the problem is it keeps getting, we can't put a whole new dock system in every week.
Yeah, exactly, that's what.
And if we take it all out, then you're gonna, darn if you do, darn if you don't, I mean, you're gonna be, people are gonna be up in arms.
Should I call the attorney, not the attorney, the insurance guy and ask him if the sign is, I think like,
He told
someone
us.
told us not to put a
We had a
sign.
meeting with him 2 years ago. or 3
Yeah.
years ago, he said, don't put a sign up. So I don't know the right answer. We can call him again and
Yeah,
ask him.
what's his name, Gombos, Mike Gombos or something? Yeah.
Davos was.
Is that his name, Mike?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's the guy who works or along with Adam.
Yeah, but he's the risk assessment guy, not, yeah, yeah.
So what we can.
Well, but I don't know why I thought there was a sign, but, I mean, it's,
There's a sign here. I don't know. if
it's no different than having a sign at the beach that says swim at your own risk, no lifeguard duty.
Yeah. I just-
Launch at your own risk, I mean, both launch.
I don't know, there's somewhere Adam Motors. But we can talk with both of them.
It probably wouldn't hurt, I mean, if they say the same thing, then fine, then we don't put anything, but
Yeah, I think not having it, I don't own a boat, so I don't use a dock, but there are so many people that live off the water that don't have the opportunity to get their boat in the water. And, I think we'd be doing a disservice.
Oh, I hate to do it.
I just would like to figure out a way to solve it and maybe the signage, as Brett says, is the best way to go, and let's check with the insurance folks out tomorrow.
Okay.
use the boat launch at your own risk, I mean, something, I don't know what the verbiage is, but something.
Hey, Mike, are you gonna be cleaning the fire hoses at all?
Hmm?
Are you cleaning the fire hoses at all?
Now,
Because I think there needs to be more maintenance down by the beach there to get the sand. I think it's pretty bad. That's another thing that we're hearing.
At the launch or?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of sand.
Yeah.
Let's go park.
Well, I'll let Joyce speak to some of it, but, you guys got your two estimates, right?
Mhm.
And Joyce is the one that asked for some clarification, so I'll let her speak to, you can see the two estimates. And they're just not apples to apples. So Joyce, explain it.
Okay, so I went, you guys asked me to get bids from 3 different entities on having some work done at Boys Hill Park. So, I don't know if you want people's names or, anyways, the one gentleman, on the east side of the lake did not do a second bid. He didn't do, there was three companies that did bids, and then only 2 answered because we redesigned everything, and then 2 answered. So the one bid is, very professional, all, cut out, I mean, nuts and bolts. I mean, everything from time frame, trees, seeds, soil, everything all cut out. And then the other bid is only half, okay? And that bid is just to take the trees out and clear it, that's it. So there's no, so all the extra would be, you know, the seeds, the soil, the Afton stone.
Labor.
Yeah.
Right, so that would all be on top of his bid, okay, so, so there's 2 bids there. I realize, you know, that that's a lot of money, but if the township is going to, you know, open that front up and make Boys Hill Park look nice, have, you know, people for you know, to go, whatever, have a picnic. There's just a lot of good things there, and it's the board's decision on, you know, who you guys would like to go with if you're gonna proceed with this project.
And the project is to open up.
50 feet,
50
50
feet.
feet off the
By
lake,
400.
yeah. By 400, you know, 400, because the property on
Right.
is 400 feet
So
wide,
400 feet long,
long, of a
And-
long
and 50
lake,
feet
50 feet
back
back,
from the
yeah.
lake.
Mhm.
and that would all be grass at that
It
point.
would be all grass, like what's in front of the Quonset hut now.
Or
okay?
seeded for grass.
Or seeded for grass.
Right, it's not
okay?
gonna be sod, right?
No, 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 so, and then they would take care of the project that we talked about on the right side. That's not getting mowed right now because of, you know, some fallen trees and stuff. So that would all be taken care of, and then those cement slabs, those 3 cement slabs where the old cabin used to be. Those could either be used for a fire pit, a basketball court, or, you know, something, okay, down the road. But leave, you know, just do 50 feet, and then, you know, you'll have sporadic trees, so you have a nice view, and then leave the bank alone, okay? That way we don't have to deal with, you know, eagle or, any of the stuff that's gonna get us in trouble.
We understand we leave in the 50 feet from the shoreline back into the wooded area. Some select trees would be allowed.
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
mhm,
and
yeah.
he's gonna select them, or he wants you to select them, us to select them?
We didn't get that far,
Okay.
okay, but I specifically said, we don't want it clear cut. We want, you know, this is
Some shade trees.
some shade
Right.
trees, this is Boy Scout Park, this isn't, you know, this isn't, you know, the other side of the lake where everything is all nice and neat and orderly, you know, so.
It'd still be nice and neat, just to have
Yeah,
the
but
trees there, right?
Yeah, right,
I get you.
exactly, yeah, and then down the road, if, you know, once you see the lay of the land or whatever, then we could get a permit to do a set of steps, you know, down to the lake and possibly another dock or
Go through
whatever.
the process.
Right,
For the near term, then, the access to the lake still would be the steps that go down to the dock.
correct, Yeah.
And this would be a 400 feet long by 50-foot wide swath of land with some occasional trees for shade and beauty that would allow people to sit there. If the children were in the water, they need to maybe go closer to the steps, depending upon their age or what their comfort is.
A picnic area, we could have some picnic tables,
Yeah.
some
All
grills,
that stuff, yeah.
right,
some benches.
Yeah.
I walked it today, of course, it's beautiful along the lake, of course it is. It's very uneven now,
right.
so we have to do some grading, of course. But if you take the numbers and see the labor and machine time to clear the trees, plus, what, I think I figured 2 of them, and the selective tree removal and trimming.
Right.
20,800 and 7,000. That's fairly close. It's a little bit
Yeah.
cheaper than the 30,000 that the other bid is quoting, and that's all he's quoting.
Right.
He's not giving us anything else.
And it's about, one is about twice as much as the other.
But
But-
you're getting a
But you're
complete
also-
job.
But it's a complete
You're
job.
getting a complete job.
Wonderfully clearing.
And because this guy's a landscaper as well as tree services, you know, he can do the topsoil, the seed,
Right.
the fertilizer and all of that. And both, then he would put an Athens stone path. Now, if you guys remember I don't know.
The original one.
The original thing.
Good.
Remember that
Right.
I gave you? You could almost see, probably the 40 feet would take us right back to a nice path. It probably would be right along that path there. That would probably be 40 feet, and that's the.
I
400 feet.
paced it off from
Mhm.
the top of the edge to, and it is just inside the Quonset hut.
Okay,
So so if you're looking at, you know, if you're at the lake looking back to the Quonset hut. So from basically the Quonset hut, north, okay, then that would all, you know, but it would just, I don't know, it would just look beautiful.
I think it would be pretty, and I think we'd get a lot of use out of it.
It allows more people to have a picnic or something on the lake
On the
versus
lake.
versus
I mean,
inside of it.
there's 3 people that have reservations already right now. I mean, there's a lot of weddings and,
There's a wedding, a graduation, and, what's the other one?
family reunion.
And
Yeah.
family reunion,
And-
July 8th, and then,
Yeah, they
15.
put signs all over the posts and they've already, I mean, they're self-preserving it. They're
Right.
proud of it, so I think that's fine, as far as I'm concerned. We don't have to monitor it or say, if there's a dispute, they'll handle it themselves,
I've been there where there's been, birthday parties and, other parties underneath the hot, in that wedding when they set up an arbor, okay, with all the flowers and everything. They know that, but we're not there to, we're going down to the lake, going swimming, and they're having a wedding and they're having a barbecue and they're having a birthday party. Just,
You're just there to sort of.
Everybody
At
can
the barbecue.
Everybody can still use the way.
right,
Everybody can still use the way, yeah.
so.
So, we would have money to put a few picnic tables, a few benches, and see how it all lays out.
I'm in favor of it.
Could you guys envision it when you went out and walked the property?
Yeah, it's very rough, I mean,
Yeah.
rough terrain right now. We walked from the Kwanzaa hut to basically where the sandiest part of the lake is, if there was to ever be put in a beach to that area. Right now it's very wet, it's very uneven, it's rough, because
It was hard walking,
it's just-
I agree.
it's woods,
It's
that's all
wood,
it
yeah.
is.
So this includes leveling that out, right? This
Mhm.
includes
Yeah.
Leveling it out. and
Clearing it, leveling
Having
it,
some sort of slope towards the water, because the water's gonna want, any water that comes down there, it's gonna wanna go to the water.
Right, now, he did say that he would leave, like any of the trees that's holding the banks back,
Right.
those are all gonna be left. Now, he might be taking sporadically along there to do the views, okay, but because once you start messing with the banks, then
DEP would be involved.
right, we don't
Yeah.
wanna do that, not at this stage of the game,
Do,
so.
do we need to check with the DNR about that before we take?
He's gonna do all of that, he's
He'll do-
gonna
he'll
go
check
pull
with you.
permits,
Okay.
yeah.
And that's the other thing, that the other guy did not, would not do any permits.
I think permits are necessary to make sure that we don't.
Well, he acted like we would be responsible.
Is he planning on doing it this summer?
Yes, starting this fall, yeah, or.
Because
or probably, when it dries out. Right, a little bit.
Because keep in mind, I mean, I know a lot of people that do tree trimming on the lakes, and a lot of times you'll do it in the winter because you fall on the ice,
Right,
and then you're not disturbing.
Okay.
You don't have anything, I'm talking about anything at the edge. If there's more extensive stuff that,
I didn't get that part, okay, but.
it was almost 50 feet back.
but I'm talking about the water
Yeah,
edge.
yeah.
Because you don't put in riprap and all kinds of other
Yeah.
things, because
I think he's got one of those machines that goes out and grabs the tree, cuts it and brings it back. No, did you see those new,
you might.
And both of these guys are residents of Mullett Township on the east side.
Yeah, they're basically.
They're local
on the
guys,
reservation.
yeah.
Huh?
Like that. That's good.
No, the guy with the bid that I'm not crazy about, the way he did it out, he's the one with the idea, he's the one that came in and had the vision, and so I said to Joyce, darn it, I really wanted to give it to him because he came up with the
Well,
idea.
the other one, the concern I have is I don't see an end number.
No, exactly.
There
This is
isn't.
why,
Unfinished bid.
this is why I would recommend this one, because he's given us, specifics.
Mhm.
So,
And it
yeah,
can always come in less.
sure, and it could come in less, it could come in more, but he's given us at least a ballpark as to how much he thinks it'll take. The debris load, how many loads the topsoil, all that. I think this, and he's right down the road, I don't know. My recommendation would be that we take this bid. And
And
he's
another job done wrong point.
Yeah, I've seen his work out on the lake.
Agreed.
Many times.
I think he does a good job.
In my 2 years.
Like I said, I mean, in the winter time, he does a lot of clearing of stuff on the
Are
lake.
you saying you've used this guy?
It was Mike at Mullett Lake, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's landscaping inclusive.
Yeah, they do really good work.
Yeah.
We've
Well,
used it
that's
for
good to hear.
years, but he landscaped our place, does snow removal, he does everything for us.
Okay.
My wife tells me this.
And I'd like, and I would like to get it, I mean, get it started.
Mhm.
And also the way it's, the way it is, if you guys have seen it, I think they could do the work and they wouldn't interfere with the use of the lake and the park for other residents during the summer. Because it's gonna be off to the side that nobody's using right now. I mean, in and out, you
Yeah.
know, bringing their trucks and stuff. But I think it wouldn't disrupt the whole park, completely.
You may wanna double check with him as to how much access he would need. Cause again, we could schedule it for to the clearing after Labor Day. You know, and find out how much time he needs. So if you did schedule it, and let's say we said, start anytime after September 10th, the majority of the use of the park would be done. If he's got enough time to get it done, cleared, soil seeded, it very well could be grass by next spring.
Well, that, and partly, I thought we'll be lucky for him to get the clearing done during the summer. If he's ready to put the seed in by September or October, which is.
want to put it on anyway.
Exactly, that's when you want to put it on. So I was thinking it might all time out pretty well. It seems like it's a pretty big job. I mean, I was shocked when I walked it today because there's a lot of dead wood. There's a lot of stuff back there.
Last fall.
But you know, when you're at the Boy Scout Park, unless you're down on the dock swimming, you don't know you're on Mullett Lake. I mean, you get a little bit of a view. This is to really be able to.
I agree. I think it's nice that we're gonna have an area
Yeah.
400 feet long by 40, 50 feet wide that allows you to have that view of the lake while you're having your picnic or barbecue or whatever you're having. out
And
there. Just
eventually-
sitting out there and chill, reading a book.
Probably not this year, but next year, when we get it all done and we use it, we can then see how we can make the lake a little more accessible.
Yeah, for that, we need to go for the permit.
Yes, yes, and we have to actually see, you know, I didn't want to walk too close to the edge to actually see.
Not safe. But, so we,
And we have the money, I mean, we only budgeted 20,000, but we have the money, our ARPA money that we can use some of it. And that other thing I'll throw out, and I don't consider it a real threat. But there's been some stuff on the,
Rescinding the ARPA
yes,
money.
yes, thank you, Mike, that's what.
I read most of those, and what it sounded like is once it was granted to you, the money belongs to you.
I think so too, but let's spend it, let's not delay it too much more, because if they are threatening to take it away. We do anyway, yeah, when we have to allocate it by 2024.
Yeah, so so would you like to make a?
I would like
motion?
to make a motion that we proceed with the Mullett Lake Landscaping and Tree Service bid. And that, we see what his schedule is and see if he can get it started. And get to work.
You wanna make it subject to a certain start date or?
No, because I think Mike's right if it,
How much time does he need?
right, exactly.
And if he says, I only need 2 weeks to clear it and put the topsoil in, well, then you definitely go for after Labor Day. If he goes, well, because of my other jobs, I'm gonna need a 2-month period, then you wanna start in July. So, I mean, you gotta work with him, find out his schedule, how much time he
And I
needs.
really think he could do it and not, once he got his equipment in there.
Yeah, I
think he-
guess we wanna ask him if he could.
And we need to know how much access he needs.
Closest to the
Yeah.
current active area
Yes,
first.
and
Use
I
that
think people
department.
could still get in and use, don't you, Joyce, think people could get in and use the
Because
park?
they left, when, Brian redid all the posts, okay, they redid the bigger posts. And then they put the gate just on, and I went and bought a bungee cord,
Right.
you know, so you can get in and out even with a fire truck, if they needed to get the fire truck through there. Then all they gotta do is undo the bungee cord and.
And I don't think they would interfere with people using the lake. People could still get down to the lake and swim and.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I guess we've asked him on the dates that people have reserved for parties that he doesn't schedule work those weekends. That's all.
Well, most of those are on the weekend, so
Yeah, I
I
know.
would guess he wouldn't
I
work.
don't know what the
Yeah.
work schedule is,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes you just would like to put that caveat in there so that people
So it
still
doesn't
have the
interfere
ability
with
to
their-
enjoy it. Because the
Right.
fellow who's having a wedding called me back in January to reserve it. I said, you don't reserve it. And also the fellow who's having a family reunion, I had a couple of conversations with him this weekend. And, they kind of like to see us have a pavilion reservation, but that's for another meeting.
Yeah, well, also, I think they figured out how to do it.
Well, I asked them to put signs up, so we got the signs up and we're doing the best that way, so.
Cause we don't wanna have to call constable or something over there to arbitrate that people have problems.
No. No, we
So
don't.
I do wanna make a motion that we proceed with and use Mullett Lake Landscaping Tree Service and get started. Based on the things we discussed.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved by Denise, seconded by Mike, that we use the bid from Mullett Lake Landscaping and Tree Service for $63,775 to do the work to be performed on his bid sheet. And, if we want to have Joyce being the manager of that project here on the side of the
Well,
lake.
Joyce can run over there and meet with them if they need
You can be
anything.
the lead on it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
Great. Everything else that needs to go in that motion, I think
I
so.
think so. Project manager.
Is there any further discussions on the motion? So moved by Denise, seconded by Mike. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. You need a copy of this, Denise? Or do you have-
I have
You've got a nice color in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And Joyce, if you wanna go to the homeowners association meeting and,
And when is that?
July 8th, here at the fire hall, it's the East Mullett Township.
right, but I mean,
Here at the fire hall, it's not at the.
I think it's at the pavilion. Yeah, it's
The
usually-
last one we went to was at the pavilion.
Yeah, I think it's here.
It's here.
Is it here?
It used to be here, and during COVID, they moved it to the pavilion, now they moved it.
is
back.
there,
Right.
maybe there's something there,
So that's
Starts-
July.
time.
With that,
8 to 10 o'clock.
no, it's,
Firehouse, yeah, here.
yeah, it starts, coffee and donuts at 9:30, and then it starts at 10.
And then you can kind of,
Okay.
brief them on it and get any input, of course, it'll already be, hopefully we would already have been.
Okay, and then I'll get those 3 dates for the weddings and the dates that you
Yeah,
have.
give you those,
Yeah, I think, I took pictures too when I was over there on the signs.
Joyce, what dates I have on June 17th for a
Okay.
graduation party,
Okay,
June 15th, I'm sorry, July 15th for a wedding event for Tanya and Jay.
Yeah.
And family reunion for July 8th. And when I spoke with the gentleman who's, having a family reunion, they're gonna come in the morning and, let me see if I can get that. You know, it's not me. He says, I know we can't technically reserve the township could benefit from the ability to reserve it. Our plan is to be at the park in the morning of the 8th, around 8 AM to set up a cookout, which will start at noon, and family and games and fun. Cornhole and horseshoes are a couple of things we will do. We should be all there in plenty of time before it closes. We'll keep the park, clean and reach out if you need more information. I'll forward this to you, Joyce, so you can have that.
and then Mike, you suggested August as far as.
Find out how much time he needs and how much access he needs. I think those are the two big questions
Okay,
that would dictate when we would want to start the project. Again, if he can clear it and grade it in a couple weeks. You know, that means he could have seed down by the end of September. I think that'd be great. If he needs more time, then we would have to start July, August, depending on what his schedule is.
okay,
So, just to
thank you.
firm up the date for the East Mullett, homeowners, East Mullett, Lake Property Association. The annual meeting will be at Mullett Township Firehouse on the east side of the lake. Starts at 9:30 and the meeting starts at 10. We try to keep the meeting to an hour and we have a number of speakers, so if we can hit the high points of things, that would be great. So,
What's that date?
July 8th.
So you can see some time to Joyce,
I would be happy.
so that she has an official.
Yep.
Bye.
Presentation, yep. And I'll send a note to James, and let him know that we're gonna add Joyce to our portion of the agenda. Okay, anything else on Boy Scout Park? Talking with Jeff today, he said that he's got some screening that we can use, and we'll be working next time he's able to in Boy Scout Park to fix the screen on the Quonset hut that's broken. And he had a suggestion, there's a window that's got a board on it. And his suggestion is that we could put some plexiglass on it and use the same kind of molding, I guess I'd call it, to keep it attached. Is that what?
But that was for the screen, it's got molding,
Oh,
it's
the
just
screen.
nailed around there. But for that back window, there's just a board up there right now.
Yeah,
And that metal thing that used to come down over
Right.
that is completely gone.
yeah.
But I could put some screws in there with a piece of plexiglass. And we used to get a little bit of light in there too.
That's a great
I
idea.
think that's
Really good.
You might want to get that pavilion clean too. If people are gonna start using that, the bird's got a white stripe going down the
Well,
middle.
supposedly, when Brian puts in the buoys, he's gonna also, power wash the dock and power wash. Right, the Quonset hut. Supposedly. Right.
I just know that, you know, without running water, I don't know how anybody's gonna use a power washer. That's the only thing I thought.
Can't you use a pump? Can you pump it out?
Pump
of the
away, he told me.
If he can do it that way, yeah, with a regular one, you can't, but
No, he
yeah.
told me he could pump.
Oh, good, good,
Okay,
yeah.
that's what he said.
Yeah.
But he's busy and things will get done on his time.
Yeah, I know he's with the buoys again. He said he had to get we talked to him a couple of times. And
Now, I did find an extra frame for one of the windows. And I put it on, there's, in the Quonset hut, there's two sections of dock.
Yeah,
I-
yeah, I can do it.
I don't know where they came from because they never fit, they were never in the water there. Okay, at Boy Scout. So there's two sections of dock or whatever, deck in the Quonset hut, but on top of that, I put all the buoys on top of that, and then I found a frame for the window. And I put that there on top of it also, so that might be something that you could.
Yeah,
utilize.
I'll use it, yeah.
good. Anything else with Boy Scout Park?
No, I'm tickled.
Me too.
Any
I'm so
particular
excited,
color tickled,
Joyce.
like tickled pink, like they used to say?
Yeah, it's a little pink.
Sheboygan County Hazard Mitigation Plan. We talked a little bit about it at the last meeting and everybody, I hope had an opportunity to go up to the, to the website and take a look at the, chapters 9, 10, and 11, I think it was. And did anybody have any comments on it?
I mean, I was there for the initial, presentation of it, I think, I think we need to approve it. Without it, if we were to have a serious situation like Gabler had with the tornadoes, it would severely limit some of our possibilities to collect money, so.
I don't see any reason why.
Yeah, I don't think there's a downside to it.
Any other comments? I went out and looked at the online and looked at, what they're doing. A lot of some of it's new that he's added to the plan, some of it's stuff from the former plan from 2016 or 2015. And it seems like it all makes sense in terms of including all the townships and working together to try and put these in place, and all the steps that they're planning on taking seem logical and reasonable to me. It doesn't look like they're trying to do something that is not reasonable to do, and as Mike said, we did mention at the meeting that we wouldn't be eligible for FEMA support or things like that if and it doesn't have to be done this month, but the sooner the better for the deputy who runs who runs the program. It seems complete to me, but if people want more time to look at the actual plan, or
I'll make a motion that we be a part of it and support.
okay.
I'll second it.
All right, so this is a resolution. There are spots for recommendations if you want to change something that you saw that you didn't like or something you'd like to have added.
I'm good with it.
Everybody's good with it? Okay.
Do you wanna leave that section blank?
I think so, so I'll read it. Whereas Mullett Township, Michigan has experienced risks that may damage commercial, residential, and public properties, displace citizens and businesses, close streets and impair infrastructure, and present general public health and safety concerns. And whereas the community of Mullett Township has prepared a hazard mitigation plan that outlines the community's options to reduce damages and impacts from the natural and technological hazards. And whereas the hazard mitigation plan has been reviewed by the community, residents, business owners, and federal, state, and local agencies, it has been revised where appropriate to reflect your concerns. Now therefore be it resolved, the hazard mitigation plan is hereby adopted as an official plan of Mullett Township. Sheboygan County Emergency Management is charged with supervising the implementation of the plan's recommendations within the funding limitations as provided by Sheboygan County or other sources. Sheboygan County Emergency Management should give priority attention to the following action items recommended by the hazard mitigation plan. I didn't feel a need to prioritize anything there. It all looked like it was important to be done. I think the professionals have a much better idea in what order things need to be done. Adopted by a vote of in favor and against and abstaining. So what resolution number will you give this thing?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look at the book. I'll write it in.
Okay. So that's the resolution. I guess I'd have to roll call vote.
Alrighty, Laz,
Vote in favor.
Mike,
In favor, yes.
Brett,
In favor.
Brenda. And I will also concur.
So adopted by a vote of 5 in favor and 0 against and 0 abstaining.
Should we, I guess, you've got a copy of the letter too in the back.
Yeah, they'll need to be submitted.
I'll give this. You have a copy of it?
I do, I made another copy so that I
Does
could,
it have a letter too that came with it?
I think I did.
Or do you?
I'll have them both here.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's good. Hazard mitigation. Okay, current business. We took care of that earlier. Call to the public. Okay, board comments, Mike,
I'm good.
Denise,
no,
Brenda,
The only comment I want to make is, in, I don't know if it was last meeting or the meeting before. I think the township should refrain from, advertising or soliciting or trying to get help for any business or any one business or anything, in the county or in the area. Someone brought it to my attention and I kind of agree that we should pinpoint. Everyone's looking for work, everyone's looking for workers, and I think that, it's difficult for a lot of businesses in the area and across the country to have workers, but I don't think we should be mentioning that at the meeting. That we should refrain from trying to solicit help for any one business, because we hope that all businesses can find help. That's all I want.
Okay. I just want to read the letter that I got from, we all got it from Andrea Newman and the TDA.
I did not get it.
You didn't get it?
I didn't get it. I didn't get it.
An email. It came,
You can get an email.
came a month ago. It said to the rest of everybody. But I'll read it. Greetings, Mullett Township Board. This came on May 18th in the email. It has recently come to my attention from a potential vendor that the TDA
I
is
didn't
not
see that.
hosting the summer fair and market this year. Unfortunately, this is not true. I was able to clear up this confusion. However, if anyone is asking, please point them in my direction. The TDA board has been meeting via Zoom over past months discussing and planning for 2022. And I'm sorry, I haven't reached out to you before today. It's been a busy spring for me, however, I do plan to be in town more over the coming weeks. Parenthetically, just got here today for a long weekend and will be here the month of July. I recently received updated marketing materials and hope to drop off some flyers to you around town by Monday. I don't think you've received those yet. You've seen them.
No,
They put the sign up, and know that.
Yeah, I saw it at the library.
Okay, please address any questions to my email or cell. It was not physically possible for me to attend the township meeting, and I believe most of our board has recently returned as well. I try not to make assumptions and will try to communicate more effectively going forward. Thanks so much, Andrea Newman, and your cell numbers on it. I'll give this to you.
no, I remember it now.
You get a copy of it?
I think it's kind of-
I saw that.
So that is, I believe, the last Saturday in July. She doesn't have a date here, but as I recollect, it's the 30th, it's the 31st, 29th,
Saturday, the 29th.
29th of July. So, I believe that, Judy has also posted that. She's already, somebody already has the hall reserved, I think.
Advance one.
Oh, okay. And, we'll look forward to the, summer fair and market again this year, last Saturday in July 29th. And then with that, I'll take, a motion to adjourn. Make a motion. Moved by Brett, second by Mike. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. Cool.
Before you take on, Jeff, I have one question, but I gotta do this first.